Life as one of the Europe's most wanted men is not easy, especially when you are Ridouan Taghi, the mastermind behind one of the most notorious gangs, the Angels of Death. This man's name sent shivers down the spine of many. He dared the authorities and was unafraid of the consequence. Described by some as a nightmare brought to life, he had his feet planted in all sorts of crime, from armed robbery to drug trafficking, and to even murder. But who exactly is this man? Well, in this video we take a deep dive into the life of Ridouan Taghi, so sit tight and grab some snacks, cause this one you don't want to miss. It all began in the 1990s. He joined a youth gang called the Bad Boys, and rightfully so. They were unorganized and were mainly involved in petty crimes. They were active in the Amsterdam Straatweg in Utrecht, on the Mall City Plaza in Nieuwegein. But how did all this begin? Ridouan Taghi was born to simple middle-class parents in north of Morocco on the 20th of December of 1977. It wasn't until 1980 that his family moved to Vianen in Netherlands in search of a better life. He was the fourth of 10 children his parents had. 2 years after joining the gang in 1990, his luck quickly ran out as he got arrested for possession of weapons and burglary. At age 17, Taghi quit his education in Nieuwegein and kept a low profile for some time. Meanwhile, he had already gotten into the business of smuggling drugs. His first drug of choice to start with was hash, which was made of compressing and processing parts of the cannabis plant. It didn't take long, however, before he began to take things to the next level, which was cocaine. He kept a very low profile despite his early convictions, bearing in mind that he had registered from Dutch Population Administration in 2009. He knew that if he wanted to make it big, he would have to remain unknown and avoid any run-ins with the law enforcement. He did a good job at this, until sometime in 2013 when his name popped out in a police report that concerned the murder of a fellow Moroccan. When his name popped out in 2013, the Spanish police started to put together pieces of information about him. They found out he was a big drug dealer in Netherlands, so they passed on the little information they had about him to the Netherlands police. The case got shelved and all seemed to be going well of Ridouan until it all changed in 2015, when his former accomplice Ibrahim Busu filed a police complaint against Ridouan and his right-hand man, Said Razouki. If you're like me, then you must be wondering, why would an accomplice to several crimes run out to the police for help? Well, the simple explanation is, Busu did this because he found out he was on Taghi's list. But why? Well, he found out that Ridouan wanted him dead because he helped kidnap a coffee shop owner that was a good friends with Ridouan. Well, through 2015, Ridouan couldn't catch a break as he got implicated again when a large group of men was arrested during a large weapon bust. After the PGP phones had been cracked and the data collected from them were analyzed, it was discovered that they were Ridouan's accomplices. It was at this point that the police really wanted to go after him, but it seems like they had left it too late. Ridouan had gotten so rich he could simply buy his way to freedom, and however stood in this way, he could eliminate it at the snap of his finger. Ridouan proved to be extremely smart by building one of the biggest cocaine empires in the world, while he was under the radar. From the end of 2015, however, he was done being under the radar. He became power drunk and was absolutely relentless. He had his way in every situation, and with whoever stood in his way, he found different ways of dealing with them accordingly, using methods that were not so friendly. On one of those many occasions, he ordered that a spice shop employee be killed because he believed he was in cohorts with the police, and this was done on the basis of mere assumption. Again, on the 17th of April 2016, another kill was carried out on the order of Ridouan on Samir Errahib, supposed because he was talking. Samir was somehow able to find out about the plot against his life, so he decided to remain under the radar. This made Taghi furious, and as the day went by, he continued to lose what was left on his patience. Since Samir wasn't gonna step out on his own, Ridouan put a bounty of a whopping of 1 million euros on his head and ordered hitmen to run inside Samir's house and kill his entire family, if that was what it took. Well, as fate would have it, a few days after Samir exited his house, and the hitman waited for him to return, and when he did, he was shot dead in his car. What made this story truly horrific was that next to Samir in the car was his 7-year-old daughter, who thankfully survived the attack. Law enforcement agents eventually apprehended the hitman. On the 9th of May of 2016, yet another was murdered by an order of Ridouan. In this hit involved an accomplice of his name, Abderrahim Belhat, who allegedly stole 2 bricks of cocaine from Ridouan, which was worth almost 100,000 euros. Now, at that time, this was a peanut for him. So why did he want him dead? Like most gangs' orders, is always enforced even if it's through violent means. Ridouan was trying to pass a message to everyone else that if you steal from him, bad things were bound to happen. Yet again, another murder was carried out on the 8th of December 2016. This time, however, a crime blogger named Martin Koch was shot and killed in his car because he frequently talked about Ridouan and other criminals on his blog. In fact, there were multiple hit attempts on him, the first one being an explosive under his car, which he survived, but on the 8th of December in Amsterdam, he was baited by a friend of his, and while they took a walk, someone came from behind and tried to shoot him in the head, but fortunately the gun jammed. In fact, Martin didn't even notice the murder attempt. His luck, however, ran out later that day. He was being followed while he drove and he was shot dead. And that's not all. Since the beginning of 2016, Ridouan was involved in a conflict with a well-known criminal named Mustafa, and in January 2017, he made an attempt to eliminate him. However, the hitman assigned to do the job killed the wrong person. This proving to be the beginning of the downfall of Ridouan. This was because the person that was killed was the son of a Moroccan judge, and as you will have to guess, the case gained attention rapidly. Ridouan's brother and 2 other shooters were arrested in connections to the murder. And just to show how notorious this man was, on the 23rd of March in 2019, while he was in custody, the Dutch prosecution announced that Nabil had testified against Ridouan and his group, and 5 days later, 2 attempts were made to assassinate his Nabil's brother Ridouan were made. Luckily for him, they both failed. But his luck ran out of the 29th of March of 2019. Ridouan Taghi has not been charged with his murder, but Ridouan's death has been linked to the announcement of his brother's testimony by numerous reports. Ridouan Taghi managed to escape getting arrested by altering his appearance and using fake passports and visas to travel. He was arrested in Dubai on the 16th of December 2019 at his luxury villa. I'm sure you're probably wondering, why Dubai? Well, the thing is, Dubai over years has become not just a city that attracts tourists from all over the world, but it has also been a hotspot for criminals, from drug lords to cybercrime experts. They all want a place where they could run their criminal business while still living in luxury. But unfortunately for criminals like Ridouan, those days are over, as the Dubai police have been working tirelessly to get rid of criminals residing in their city. The Dubai police had gotten knowledge of Ridouan and had their eye on more than 10 people who were allegedly in contact with him. This led them to a luxury villa they believed Ridouan could be in. There was almost no sense of life in the villa, as all the blinds were closed. There was no car or even movement into or out of the villa during the day. The Dubai police knew something fishy was definitely going on the apartment, because they noticed that there was a man who took the trash out every night. It only took some time to figure out, but when they did, it turned out to be none but Ridouan Taghi. He never left the property, and he ensured that there was around-the-clock surveillance around the property. The Dubai police designed a means to enter the property, armed only with a 10-year-old picture of Ridouan. They didn't know what to expect or who they would find in the house because, according to the Dutch news, he might have undergone a face-changing surgery. When the police entered the building, they immediately found a man who was drinking red wine and watching TV. He couldn't believe what was going on and he surrendered without any resistance. They later found out that this man was indeed Ridouan Taghi, the biggest drug trafficker and one of the most wanted men on the planet. They also found large amount of cash hidden in the building, alongside some laptops, smartphones, and magazines writing about him. He is currently facing a battle with the Department of Justice in Netherlands, who are hell-bent on making sure he pays for his sins. From a young kid from Morocco to smuggling hash, to being one of the most notorious criminals the world has ever seen. He's currently fighting to get the least amount of jail time he possibly can, as his time has come to an end. We believe he'll be gone for a very long time, but let us know in the comments how long you think he deserves behind bars. And if you enjoyed this video, click on the next video showing on your screen for more entertainment.